you gonna do when it ain't nowhere to run? Judgment comes for you, and judgment comes for you. What you gonna do when it ain't nowhere to hide? When judgment comes for you, 'cause it's gonna come for you. And I'm gonna miss everybody out of road. Like back, look at my bag. Flames of dust and they take you deep for peace. And the days I get to be, tell me your piece of the seats with it, please. Maybe they buy my grand way. You can't go for the God bless you, working on a plan to heaven. Follow the Lord on 24/7 days. God is who we praise, even though the devil's all up in my face. But he keeping me safe and in my place. Christ to the gates we race, but I change the face of judge. And it bless my soul with good. Girls, because there's no mercy for thugs. Ooh, what can I do? It's all about the family and how we do. Can I get a witness? Let it flow. We live it our lives, we turn our soul. Hey, oh, hey. Now follow me, Rosto, whether it's television, come on, so take a visit to the people that's known on there. While ladies, they're tearing blue. Instead of keeping up with their family, exactly how many days we can last it. Here we go again. We're passing the way. We always got those who don't know what we to what I come round. Y'all know if I ever got love with them both those baby. Long gone, really what you look home. But when it's gonna die, gotta go bye-bye. Here we go again, here we go again. Welcome, welcome, and welcome. One and all. Those who are for you and those who are against you. In other words, those are for me and those are against me. Yeah, we have no open forum. You can say what you want to say. Just put it in the comments. I know. Candy store's open. The system is serving up M&M. Murder and mayhem. I ain't picking the green one. I ain't picking the yellow one. They're picking the black and the brown ones. Yeah, we're going to have that talk in a few minutes. We're going to talk about another tragedy. Another young man whose life was cut short. A young man whose life was just cut short. I don't even claim to understand it because it's really, nothing to understand. It's not like this just started. It's been happening for a while now, and it ebbs and flows. I mean, not the murdering and killing of us. That's constant. But the ebb and flow is, when they decide to talk about it, when they decide to, give it some, not even a fair amount of attention. There's just some things that just beyond the pale. You just can't believe it, and nobody would believe it if it hadn't been for the advent of the phone, the iPhone, and all these other phones that they have, social media. Because the ordinary citizen, his word wasn't worth 2 cents. The gatekeepers, the gatekeepers, the gatekeepers have the sense and soul that, is you versus
them. And up until now, you know, the ball has been, steadily in their court. They've been winning. They've been winning. Of course, we have had you know, some victories along the way. Very few. But even at the victories that we've had, the necessary change has not made it to the streets. Why is that? Why is that? Why haven't the necessary change made it to the streets? And this is under both Democrat and Republican administration. Because I don't want to hear this thing about, it's the Republicans. And I don't want to hear this thing about it's the Democrat. It's both of them. They either don't have the will to do what is right, or or they don't want to. This thing about uh, you know the justice system, is long, but the arc bends towards justice. That is a bunch of garbage. That is garbage. That is garbage. Pile on top of garbage. If you ever got the opportunity to listen to my last video, I stated what the mother of the brother Wright had said. Justice, you can't get no justice. That brother cannot get justice. He's dead. There's no justice for him. So what is left? Accountability. That's what's left. Accountability. Now I'm not talking about some mouthpiece accountability. Condolences. Yeah, that's all right for some folks. Because that would never suit me. I'm gonna tell you right now. You can't condole. You can't give me. There's no condolences for me. There's none. No, you murdered my son. But you put a name on it. You put a tag on it. So whereas uh, it was justified or legal in your sight, but that it was, it's one of those, it's okay. I was watching this program this morning or today, earlier, where they had this black, former chief, and he was giving some sort of explanation on police. Now, that's an oxymoron. Trying to give it some sort of a justification of policing. You know, if policing. If you understand what policing is, you know, in their minds, it's nothing more than an exercise of taking out the trash. Is their exercise of taking out the trash. That's how they see us. When they make their schemes, because that's what they are. When they make their schemes or their plans on how to police a community, the equation of good folk are not in their equation. They're always talking about the bad element, encounters with the bad element. I also like what the other brother said. I mean, excuse me, the sister said. When one of the police chief uh, commented uh, about going out in the community and get to know the community. She brought up an interesting point. Why do you need to get to know me to kill me? I don't need. I need you to do your job. Now, if your job is to get to know me and kill me, I think you need to get another job. You need to set another agenda, and that is wrong with America today. They are they're afraid to say what is really on their mind. So that's why I want you to come on to my station. And you can say what you want to say. And be real with it. For or against it. You know? Come on my stand, come on my channel and talk about it. You know, I confess, I don't this is my opinion. This is what I think about it. And I'm not alone about how I think, but just a lot of folks are afraid to say it. I think enough has been enough a long time ago, and we keep on saying the same old stuff. Enough is enough. We get a new uh, we get a new breed of what I call ambulance chasers. A new breed of ambulance chasers. Now I'm gonna be real with it. A new breed of ambulance chasers. All kinds of organizations are profiting off black men's body. Everybody's trying to get in on that. From the Black Lives Matter to the current lawyers and political action networks. This is nothing new. We've been telling you folks about this for a long time. Now all of a sudden you're taking an interest of it because then this is my opinion, because it's uplifting your profile. And the thing about it is, all these people who are playing into this thing, the people who live in those communities, they're being forgotten. Once the newspapers, the news networks, and all these other people leave town, guess what happens? That community is forgotten. That community has got forgotten. And the prominent figurehead has made his money. He's ran off with the bag. He's run off with the bag. And once they run off with the bag, the community is still there left to fend for themselves. The community. I'm talking about the community as a general. You're left there holding the bag. When the prominent person who was a talking head said what they said, they got paid, and now they're moving on. How's that helping the community? It's not helping anyone else other than them. Community still suffering. Now the person who in several cases the black men and women who've been murdered, maybe their family get a bite of the apple. But what about the rest of the community who stood with you on this issue? What about them? Again, they get the bag and run off. And somehow their position kinds of shift. They get softer on it. They get a little softer on it. No, you can't. We can't get soft on that because that is just too much. We cannot allow ourselves to get soft on that. We have to stay strong and continue to let folk know that this ain't right. This ain't right yesterday. It's not right today, and it's not going to be right tomorrow. But if you think, because some folk obviously think it's okay. Some folk obviously think it's okay. For those who think it's okay, that's your cup of tea. But as far as I'm concerned, it's not okay. It's not okay. I think it's time for change. It's been time for change for a long while, but I think it's just time for a immediate change. I'm not talking about no long range change. Waiting for who? What are we waiting for? What are you waiting for? You want change? You're going to have to be the change that you want. They're going to continue. They're going to continue to treat our community as if we are trash, because that's what police do. That's what the gatekeepers do. Now, am I saying that all cops, all policemen are like that? No, that's not what I'm saying. But I say to you that all until they all of them get involved and change the system, because this is a systematic problem. This is not an individual cop problem. This is a systematic problem. And until we agree upon that openly, because we'll talk about it. Oh yeah, we'll talk about it among ourselves. We'll talk about it, in a dinner table, or we'll talk about it on the phone, and all that kind of stuff. But it comes a time where you're gonna have to show your cards. You're gonna have to show your cards and see where you're playing, whose team you really with, and not. I say again, and not back down. Yes, there's consequences. There's consequences for being bold. When you stand up for right, there is consequences. And that's just part of the meatball game. That's part of the meatball game. That's part of life. There's consequences for everything. But it's all about how you feel as a individual and how we feel as a community. I hear people talk about this all the time. I remember when. Do you really remember when? So when did you remember when? And if you did remember when, what did you do? What have you done? Okay, so you haven't done anything. Okay, I can dig it. I'm not going to even ask the reason why, because there's probably a lot of reasons why we haven't done things. But just because you haven't done things, don't mean that you can't do things. Because you can change, and when you change, you can force other folks. Sure, someone said you can't change nothing. Listen, listen. It used to be a long time. Whenever I went to get a drink of water, I had to go to a certain kind of water, except for water only. So that changed. That changed. So don't tell me things can't change. You just gotta be willing to be the change agent and push the issue. Push the issue. Policing. Yeah, the candy store is open and they're serving up M&Ms. They're not choosing the green ones or the yellow ones, only the black and brown. M&M of mayhem and murder. That's what they're doing. That's the system. And we have all kind of people who are trying to justify that behavior. But then again, we got some folks that are trying to fight that behavior. I applaud and I think and I appreciate those. I really do. Because it takes more than just an ordinary person. It takes more than just an ordinary person, especially in the time we have these days. We got people who are, not so much as far as the resources are commanded. They just don't have a lot. We just don't have a lot of resources. And because we don't have a lot of resources, we have this thing what I call, the benign neglect. You know, that's it is. You since that's the way it is, that's the way it's always going to be. That's not a way to live. That's no way to live. That's no way for anyone to live. And that's especially us. Why should we have to settle? Why? And answer. Go ahead, put it in the comments and answer that question. Why do we have to settle? Everybody else is rising up, and we've been here as long as everybody else, and longer than many others. But we just got to settle. We're like that side piece. You know what I'm talking about. We only come out when it get trotted out when they have the need to screw us, leave us wet, and throw us back in the closet. That's no way to live. That's nowhere to live. What we need to do is go ahead and respect ourselves. Respect ourselves. Because we're more than that. We are more than that. And don't let nobody or anyone tell you anything different. Don't let anyone or anybody tell you any different. Take a look at my last video essay. And I covered this, where, heck, we're 13 to 14% of the population. And just because we're 13 and or 14% of the population, I think we should get 13% of the pie. Yeah, that's right. 13% of the pie. I'm not talking about a piece of the pie. That means when you're going to give me the top and you're going to get all the filling, or you're going to give me the bottom and you get the nice crust. No, I want my whole piece of pie, 14% of it. And that's not a handout. That's what I deserve. You're giving everybody else pieces of the pie, a whole sliver, a whole slice. I don't care if you're giving them, 12%, 25%, 6%, whatever you're giving them, you're giving it to them whole. You're not piecemealing it. Give them a little bit of here and a little bit of there. No, we want and we deserve and we need our whole piece of the pie. There's a few things that I cover, and one of the things I think is worth saying again. You know, because we have some folks among us that say, "Oh, you just want a hand out." Really? Is that the best you got? We want a handout? No, I told you what I want, and you're just trying to deflect on what I'm saying by saying all you want is a handout. No, I want my 14%. That ain't no handout. That's what I'm owed. That's what I'm owed. That's what we are owed. That's not a handout. How can you give a handout something to somebody that is theirs? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. How can you, well, I see how you can do it because you think you're the master and we're the servants. No, 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 no. That's not how it works. We need to change that relationship that you think we're uh, uh, servant to your whim, or you know we're in custody. You're the welfare people, and you're doling out what you think we need. No, mm-mm, no, no, no. We're no one's children. We're no more. We're no more someone's children than any other group of folk in these United States who can go and demand things and get considerate, get consideration. See that we need to stop being afraid. We just need to stop being afraid of talking about. Well, they're going to take this. Well, that's not going to be nothing because they've already taken everything. They've taken most of everything. Just think about this for one moment, and you can put it in the comments. I want somebody to put in the comments. What do you think about what I'm about to say here? If we are 13 to 14% of the population, and when it comes to, and I'm just going to talk about economics right now. I'm going to talk about economics. And when it comes to economics, we own no. I'm going to say it one more time. We don't own any major corporation. Now, there's a lot of black executives that run major uh, corporations and companies. We got some of those, but I'm talking about you know like things like DuPont and you know and, all these other big companies, Gambles and uh, Bank of Americas and Rockefellers, that own a conglomeration of stuff, multi uh, companies and assets. Well, we are always being subcontracted. Well, we're always being subcontracted. You see, the thing is, if we got our share, if we got our share of the pie, of once they, if it's 14%, or if there's 13% of us, if we got 13% of the pie, we'll be more than sustainable. We'll be more than sustainable. The shift, the shift of the financial and economic realm will go to our advantage. It will just come to our advantage. But as long as they're doling out stuff to us, you know, playing this old game, you know, one for you, eight for him, a half for you, four for him. No, giving us pieces, and we're thinking we're getting something. We're really thinking we're getting something. And we have folk in our community, because they've been on the system dole, or they've been, raised up in the system. They're afraid to disconnect, because they've been fed this nourishment for so long that they're tied to it. They're like junkies. They're like junkies. They don't believe that they can live without the system. Now, I'm not talking about collapsing the system. That's not what I'm referring to. I'm referring to getting our fair share. Now, people might think that set aside is a dirty word. It's not a dirty word. They do it all the time. Government chooses winners and losers. Don't get it twisted. Yeah, if it hadn't been for the government, there'd be a whole lot of losers who are winners now, and there would be a whole lot of winners who are quote unquote losers now. The government, our government, they choose winners and losers. Since they're choosing winners and losers, we should have the same mentality. We should choose winners and losers. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, what's a winner versus a loser? Now, when I talk about winners and losers, if you're not for me, you're a loser as far as I'm concerned. That's just the way it is. If you're not for me, you're a loser, because you're not with my cause. You're not you you're doing something else. You're marching. You got to be honest. That's why a lot of folk can't make it, because they got a whole bunch of losers on their team. They've got a bunch of losers on their team, and they're carrying the losers with them. It's time for our community to get a very good diet program, lose some of that dead weight, get rid of some of them losers. Yes, well, there's losers on our team. Now, because you're a loser today, don't mean that you can't become a winner, tomorrow. But as long as you're in the loser category, that's what it is. That's what it is. That's straight talk. That's what it is. You're a loser. You need to go ahead and get in the program and become a winner. You want to become a winner? I give you the formula, X, Y, and Z. But if you want to continue to be a loser, well, there's the door. You need to hit it. And that's what and that's what our community needs to understand. If you want to go somewhere, you better make sure that you have the first that you have made up in your mind that that's what you want to do. Because a lot of us, we say we want to go somewhere, but when it comes time to make that move, We're still sitting in a chair watching television. Now, ain't nothing wrong watching television. Everything has its place. But when it's time to move, baby, you need to turn that thing off and go forth and do great things. And as long as we're sitting around pondering about, "Hmm, I kind of want to do it, but you know, you know, I got this good job, man. And I don't think I can, I don't think I can risk it." Baby, listen, listen, listen. I understand that part. And if you ain't ready right now, step out, step up. Don't get in my way. That's all I'm asking you. If you ain't ready to move forward and make a change so that we all can benefit, that's okay. I'm not mad at you. I am not mad at you at all. You just need to step to the side and let the man do his thing. That's what we need to do. That's how we need to think. Now, I'm not against compassion because that's one of the first things folks. Oh, you just so mean, baby. We're at war, baby. We at war, and if you don't know that, you better ask somebody. Ask Dwayne Wright. You can't ask him, can you? Because he's dead. Ask George Floyd. Oh, you can't ask him because he's dead. We're at war. We are at war. We don't got time to be polite. Leave that for the diplomat. It's time for us to rise up and take account of what we got to do and do it. And do it. Because that's where we are today. That's what it is. I'm gonna say it again. The candy store's open. And white supremacy is serving up M&M. They ain't changed. They're not taking the green ones, all the yellow ones, all the red ones. They're just taking out the black and brown ones. That's us. Just taking them out. They're just taking them out. And so what we got to do, we got to get a backbone, which means that means get an agenda, and not just keep on studying it to death. Because I'm telling you right now, if you just keep on studying it to death, you ain't gonna, at the end of the day, you're gonna die studying it. I was reading today that the United States Congress are about to bring the HR 40 bill, or the study of the study for reparations, to the floor 38 years later, because they've been studying it to death. Then they still need to study it some more. There is nothing to study. There is nothing to study, and everybody's excited about. Oh, look! No, what I would be excited about is not to study about if there is a reason for reparations for the people of the descendants of American slavery, because that's a foregone conclusion. That's not even a question, because that question has been answered a while back. The question now should be whether or not that we're going to get, how much we're going to get, how much they're going to give us. And I don't want, and if anybody here or anywhere else talk about they ain't got no money, then you just don't know. You just don't know finance in America. You just don't know. There's two oppositions that we have in our camp. Well, they ain't got no money. Man, look here. They had a problem in this pandemic, and all of a sudden money just magically appeared, just like Lucky Charms, magically delicious, just appeared for everybody. La da da. But when it comes to the American descendants of slavery, mm-mm, not so much. We're gonna do some. We're gonna give them some trinkets. We're gonna give them some. We're gonna give them free school. Look, and while we're talking about free school, ain't no such thing as free. Somebody paid for that. We paid for that a long time ago with interest. Our lives. We paid for that a long time ago with our lives. So I'm asking you this question. I just want you to make clear when it comes to thinking that school is a form of reparations. No, it's not. No, it's not a form of reparations. That's not what reparations for American descendants of slavery look like. That's not what it looked like. What it should look like is cut the check. We'll determine how we're going to spend it. If we feel like we want to go to school, okay, fine, we'll go to school. But let me tell you about the school. I believe in education. Don't get it twisted. I believe in education. But what I don't believe is spending thousands of dollars to get a degree and you can't even get a job to pay for it. Spend $50 to $100,000 on education and get out there and get a seven job. And I'm not even talking about on the bachelor's degree or associate degree level. I'm talking about on the master's degree level. When you're a descendant of slavery, the opportunity just doesn't come. Opportunity just doesn't come that way like that. It just makes me so angry. It just makes me so angry when I hear folks say, "Well, they're not good in the math or in sciences." You mean to tell me 14% of the U.S. population, and you can't find nobody that's good at math in that group or science in that group? You're just lying. And we are lying to ourselves when we believe that garbage. And I'll just say this, and I'll say this, and I'll say this, and I'm gonna make it easy on these folks. Just let's just suppose that out of that 14%, nobody has nobody can do whatever it is they want done. Does that mean they don't have does that mean that they don't have the propensity or the wherewithal to learn how to do it? I know somebody out of that 14% can learn it. That's why I believe that government is their responsibility to have some set aside for certain groups. They do it for corporations. You don't think that those corporations didn't receive some set aside and still receiving some set aside? Oh, when we talk about people, getting some help, it's all taboo. It's all taboo. But when we talk about corporation get some help, they all for it. Both Republicans and Democrats. So don't get it twisted. Hey, listen, let me tell you something about Democrats and Republicans. This is my opinion now, so you can take it for what it's worth. They are both the same bird. They're both the same bird. They're just two different wings on the bird. One's on the right and one's on the left, but they're the same doggone bird. And having said that, that bird is in their interest. They're going to do what's in their interest. And it's in their interest to not, I'm going to say this one more time. It's in their interest to not promote the American descendants of slavery. It is not in their interest because we're the black sheep of the family. And you know how people treat black sheep. We're the black sheep of the family. They get embarrassed. They get embarrassed now. They feel something. They feel some kind of way. One of them may be, more harsh outwardly, and the other one is harsh as well, but they do it pleasantly. One may not just run right out there and call you a nigger. That's why I said it. Well, the other one, they don't say nigga in your face, they'll say it behind your back. But to you, you're still the same. The Democrats and Republicans, they're both the same bird, just two different wings. And once we realize that as a community and better understand the choices that we make are going to either help our cause or it's going to hurt our cause. There's no neutrality in this thing. There's no even kill. The sun is setting on us. The sun is setting on us. And so because the sun is setting on us, love, listen, you better start sharpening your skills. If you got some dead weight, you need to go and just take care of it. You know, take care of it. Now, in the day's news, the defense and the prosecution both rested the case in the Derek Chauvin trial. The case is, it's pretty much as far as the bringing in the evidentiary and all this other kind of thing. It's that part is done. Now it's up to the jurists to come in with their conclusion. Now that sounds, I mean, from what I looked at, from what I looked at, I'm not saying what anybody else looked at, but from what I looked at, that looked like what I call an open and closed case. That's what I saw. That's what I saw. An open and closed case. Right? Listen. People are what they are. The people. That's why I'm a person as well. I've got a certain bent, towards a thing, and I can be moved, from one way to another way. I can be moved, but there's certain things that I can't be moved on. I'm just gonna be honest with you. There's no amount of money. There's no amount of anything that can move me in a direction that's not in me. I just can't. Now, our justice system is it really justice? That's a lie that's been fed to us. Ugh, you know, is it really justice? How can how can anything be justice when you're trying to serve up someone over someone else dying? How can it? You can never get that person back. I'm I mean, you can take this person and who did the act or the crime, and put them on a chair, put them to sleep, or whatever you want to do with them, and then bring them back again and do it. And it's still ain't gonna, it's still justice never gonna be served for that person. This is not a justice system. This is a consequence system. The people who we pay. I'm talking about from the DA to the judge. We paid them. We paid them. We pay them to do harm to us. They're not listening to you. No, if you think they're listening to you, if you think they're listening to you, I want you to go and visit a prison. I want you to go and visit a prison. Now, I'm not talking about whether someone committed an act or not, but the way these folk who are in prison, they're treated as animals, so therefore they become animals. It's not about taking someone and reforming them. No, it's about taking them and put them in the belly of the a slave ship and beat them down so bad that they submit to the system. That's what it's all about. Submitting to the system. And you want to call that justice? There's so much inhumane treatment going on in the prison system, in the jail, and all this other stuff. It's just crazy. And you want to call that justice? I see you, Brother Larkin. Bless your heart. That's not justice. That's not what justice look like. There's no justice system. It's a consequence system. I'm not saying if someone deserved to go to the belly of the beast, shouldn't be in there, but they shouldn't be no beast. They shouldn't be treated like a beast. With the disguise of this being the justice system. Do you mean to tell me I'm 13 or 14% of the population and I'm over half of the population inside this belly of the beast? Oh, there's something wrong with that. You can't even tell me. You can't even make me to believe that. In my core value. I've heard Joe Biden talking about, doing away with the federal, the commercial federal system. You know, what you waiting on? You doing a lot of other stuff with executive order. Get it popping. Show me that. Stop telling me stuff. Show me something. When it comes to American descendants of slavery, black folk, stop telling me stuff and stop showing me some stuff. What you've done, the promise that you have made, and stop that side chick mentality. Keep it in the dark because we don't want nobody to know. Hell, I don't even know. You just saying something. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Democrats and Republicans, they're both the same bird, but just different wings. I understand. I understand the policy of allyship. Because let me tell you something. We don't have any friends. We don't have any friends. We, if you could tell me who our friends are, put it in the comment for us. Because we don't have friends. We don't have any. I'm talking about the American descendants of slavery. We do not have any friends. Now we can have some allies, some people who have some common goals, and we work together for a time. But we're not friends. When my kids used to grow up, were growing up, man, they used to come back. The first day in school, I met. I got friends. I met friends. We got friends. I used to be in the military and used to travel a lot. And when they, get what see new kids, friends, other kids, kids. Yeah. But later on down the line, that person really thought was their friend, flipped on them. They were no longer, I said, baby, listen, you don't got no friends. You have some, you don't got friends like that. You only got associates. You got folk who are in common with you at this to your point. But you will get some allies. We can get and have allies. Everybody on this planet have self-interest before they put others. And I don't care if you're Christian, Buddhist, Muslim, or whatever. You're going to put your planet. That's just the way nature planned. Oh yeah, they're serving up candy stores open. White supremacists serving up M&Ms by the truckload, but they ain't taking the green ones, or the yellow ones, or the red ones. Only the black and brown. That's all. That's what they do. That's how they hold it. That's the way they roll it. That's the way they're rolling with us. We're going to have to make a decision. We're just going to have to make a decision that we're going to have to stand up on our own. We're going to have to stand up on our own. We're going to have to do for ourselves. Now that doesn't, like I said, that doesn't mean that we're not going to team up with some allies. That's not, I can't say that enough. For whatever interest. But what we got to do, we have to demand. We have to demand. We have to demand that we get our piece of the pie, the whole slice. The whole slice. Stop selling for less. And when we can't settle for what is due and what is owed, that stuff filters into our everyday life. It does. It's not something, I could have got an A, but I'm gonna accept this B. Well, I could have got this B, but I'm gonna accept this C. Oh, I could have got this C, but I'm gonna accept this D. Courtroom full of brothers that had the plea deal. Is that justice? Settling. Because the system has not left them any alternative. That's not justice. They're adversaries, and we pay. Just think about that now. We pay the adversary to lock us up. Yeah. We pay the adversary to gentrify our community. Yeah. We pay the adversary to poison our drinking water. Yeah. We pay the adversary to enforce some ungodly, unfair voting rights. Also, I should say voting restriction. What? Who does that? We do. We do. We do all day long. Well, I'm just gonna say this, and then because it's closing time. But I just want to keep this on your mind. Just food for thought. Just food for thought. Someone told me this a long time ago. He said, garbage in and then garbage out. If we continue to just accept the garbage, even in our natural love life, for those of us who have a love life, if we continue to accept that kind of behavior or that kind of going on, that's what people are going to do. That's why they're going to continue to do that to you. Aren't you tired of being played? Aren't you tired of being played? And so I'm gonna have to get on out of here and just tell you until the next time, until we get ourselves together, brothers and sisters. Whew, some things just make you want to holler. Stand up. Oh, just stand up. If you're the only one in your community, stand up. I guarantee you won't stand alone for long. Just stand up. Each one just reach one. Because somebody out there is just waiting to see if you're going to stand up. And brothers and sisters, if it was just one stand up, then another will stand up. Then another. And then another. When the righteous stand up, it becomes contagious. Because see any stores open and white supremacy. I love you. Hope to see you again Monday 9 o'clock. Subscribe to my channel on YouTube. I'm going to be sending out notes